The setup for an optic twist bowl is slightly different than other blown forms. You want to set up your bubble so it mimics the optic mold that you're entering. If you're going into a V-shaped mold, you want it to be V-shaped. If it's more cylindrical, then you want it to be more cylindrical. We're using the newspaper here to blow out our bubble evenly. From there, you're going to take a short heat and head to the marver, using the marver to elongate our form. You want to marver horizontally and drag back towards yourself. You also want to shape the tip so it's slightly conical, so it fits into our cone-shaped mold. From there, you want to take a good heat to get a good overall movement. As you leave the glory hole, keep your bubble horizontal until you're directly over the optic mold. Then turn vertically, push down, and blow hard. This is going to inflate your bubble to match the shape of the mold. It will also create thick and thin areas within the bubble. To twist the optics, go to the glory hole for a short heat, then return to the optic mold and twist in one direction while pushing down lightly. The ribs of the optic mold will actually grab the surface and twist your bubble as you turn in one direction. Make sure not to apply so much pressure that the piece moves the mold. To finish twisting the very end of your piece, you're going to grab it with your tweezers, pull out a small area, and then pick up your diamond shears. You're going to use your diamond shears to grab lightly and turn the pipe, which is going to twist the tail end or the bottom part of your bubble. While doing that, you're going to take a little light back pressure from your assistant to make sure that your bubble does not collapse. After returning from a short heat, you're going to use the jacks to shape and cool the sides of your vessel and then take light air from your assistant while cutting your jack line. This is going to help inflate your bubble fairly evenly while blowing out the shoulder slightly. Keeping your bubble on center during this process is very, very important so your bubble blows out evenly and your optics are nice and straight and don't collapse on one another. At this point in the process, we're starting to set up for our next move so that gaffer angles out using the jacks while continuing to take air from the assistant. This is going to prevent the bubble falling back onto the moil and sticking to it while we're squatting. If the bubble starts to blow out too thin, you can also use the back of the jacks to chill the very bottom. This is a great view to see how the bubble blows out evenly. The next step is to squat your round bubble. Cap the pipe with one hand while turning in one direction. See how the pipe is approximately a 45-degree angle. While the gaffer turns and flips the bubble, he's paying attention to the center of the bubble and make sure it's squatting evenly. You want to flip to have the high point up. This will help keep your bubble on center while squatting. These heats aren't very long, but the idea is to keep the core temperature of your glass hot. At this point, we're going to shape the top half of our bubble using the jacks. Tap the bottom while taking light air from your assistant. At this point, the assistant is no longer blowing. They've gone to go get a Morise. Normally we would edit out this section, but it's important to see that we're just waiting and not taking a flash before accepting the Morise. The gaffer is going to accept this bit using the jacks. The assistant brings the bit over horizontally with a little bit of glass hanging off the end. The gaffer lets it fall off center, attaches, lifts up, and turns away while dropping the punny down. Following that, the gaffer uses the back of the jacks to shape the Morise. This is pretty important, so we're going to take a look at it from a second angle. The gaffer is going to accept the bit using the jacks, attach it to the piece, lift up while turning away, and drops the pipe down. Then smooths out the Morise using the back of the jacks. Now our gaffer is ready to transfer the piece. When transferring the piece, you want to stick the punny on center to the middle of the Morise. You're going to take a couple turns following that to make sure that things are on center while riding the tool along the edge of it. Submerge your hand in water. When coming out of the water, keep the tweezer blades closed, apply the water to your jack line in a couple points, apply a light vibration, and transfer the piece onto the punny. Following the transfer, we recognize we have an uneven lip, so we're going to trim using the straight shears. When trimming, remember to trim down so the piece of glass that you're cutting off falls off and not onto the piece. Following a short heat, we're going to paddle the lip and apply the jacks on the inside of the lip facing down. We're cleaning up that front edge. Besides cleaning up the lip, what we're doing also with the paddle is constricting that lip so it doesn't pull out too far. At this point in the process with the jacks, what we're doing is opening the lip wide enough to fit in the parchoffi blades. Parchoffis are a pushing tool, very similar shape to the jacks, but you use the tips of the chofes to push the vessel down and out. This is going to help widen your bowl. We're going to look at this process from a different angle. If you have water on the inside of your bowl, you want to dump it out before you heat. If not, it'll melt the scum into the surface of your glass. This process of shaping with the parchoffis will be done over several heats. While shaping with the parchoffis, the assistant aligns the paddle with the bottom of the piece in the situation where the gaffer would like a paddle on the lip. Keeping a paddle on the lip will constrict it and allow you to push the wide section wider versus elongating the piece. When returning to the bench, remember you always want to start towards the bottom and work your way out to the widest point. Turning is more important than you would think. You're applying a very light pressure, not pushing real hard with the parchoffi, but keeping things turning on center. Also, when you change direction, you want to lift up lightly so you're not applying more pressure to one single spot and pushing the piece off center. Once it's close to horizontal, you're going to head back in and take a short heat to get everything moving around just a little bit. From there, you're going to ride the jacks on the outside at the widest part and turn fast. Centrifugal force will bring the high section up to the parchoffi blades and take a paddle on the lip to clean things up. When blowing glass, it's important to be comfortable with how you're using the tools. If you feel more comfortable lifting up on the tools, such as the jacks or the parchoffis, versus pushing down, feel free to do it. Once you're happy with your final shape, return to the glory hole and take a small flash. The flash should be for about 3 to 5 seconds. After that flash, return to the bench, apply a little water to your punny, and tap the piece off.